Well, grab a seat, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
D and Davis, the flip.
Flip.
Still in COVID edition, social distancing fashion. Trying to be responsible and not contaminate ourselves, our families, our friends, and strangers, because even though you don't know them, you should give a F about other people.
Yes.
My name is Kenneth Davis. You've heard him speak already. His name is
D Demonspro. What's happening, everybody? Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show. Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Music, Stitcher, the TuneIn app. We're on Anchor. We get you over to Spotify and YouTube, so you can see us. That's right, as Ryan sips on his coffee. Thank you for everybody who's been watching us and subscribing to the YouTube channel. Keep on doing that. Subscribe to everything. We're getting our numbers up on YouTube because you see us, so we appreciate that. I'm on Twitter at Demons1, DEMONZE1, Twitter and IG. Ken is on Twitter and IG at That's Davis. Ryan Bukoveski is on Twitter at Ryan B. Ski and also IG at Ryan B. Ski1. Also, he's executive producer of, as Ken said, everything that we do. And everything. And Sydney Brown's on Twitter and IG at SidKid80. And make sure you read his articles at wearereadradio.com.
The New York Mafia is taking a hit from the novel coronavirus pandemic after many of its money-making outlets have been shuttered. Gambling halls, sporting events, and construction projects have long fed the Empire State's gangs, but now they are taking a historic blow, as law enforcement sources told the New York Post. There's never been a time when they weren't making money through gambling, the source said. The American Mafia families are also losing money out of extortion rackets after restaurants and other entities close their doors under New York City's shelter-in-place order. A halt to non-essential construction jobs, which includes transportation, port entry, has also put a dent in the U.S. mob's profit. But this is not the case in Italy, where authorities warn that the mafia will most certainly cash in on the pandemic. There's already concerns that various criminal groups are involved in constructions of field hospitals and important medical supplies like masks and other equipment. They're also dealing drugs, making loans, and controlling large swaths of agricultural industries, which is one of the few sectors still in full operation to feed the 60 million lockdown in Italians.
You know what? The one thing that hopped out to me, you just said, Ken, with that story, is a simple fact of loans. People aren't working and they need money. So this is definitely a good way. If you need some protection, you need a little extra cheese, hey, we'll take care of you. So damn, man, even you can't shake the underworld. I mean, everybody got to make money. And listen, man, the underworld makes
Pookie ain't making no money. Where's the money Pookie's supposed to be making?
Oh, I'm sure Pookie's still getting out there.
Pookie ain't getting his cut. He ain't getting his Corona's cut. He's not getting his Corona's cut.
Get a few pills and a few rocks off. Hey, everybody out there, listen, even though you have a pandemic, people still gonna out there make money somehow, right?
If I told you how much money I spent on alcohol yesterday,
damn,
because I don't plan on going back out. No, I don't mean it like that. I'm just still saying, like, I've never had this total ever in my life acquiring alcohol.
Are you serious?
Did you go to Kenwood Liquor?
Hell yeah, I went to Kenwood Liquors. I told my people up in there to listen. I was in there. Listen, so real quick.
With a shopper cart going down every lane.
No. So I went out before the last show was the last time I went out, right?
Okay.
And I went to Jules, and I said I had the coat. My coat was zipped up to here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had just my glove on, and my glove has the things where I can touch stuff, right? Mm-hmm. This time I had latex gloves and a mask. The first time I put the mask on, it popped. I had to sit there and staple it, so it finally stayed on my face. Okay. I get to Kenwood, it's only one person in there with a mask on. I'm like, so today y'all don't want to be masked up when I come out here prepared, right? Y'all trying to do a brother like that, huh? I got to be out here looking like the weirdo. Did not care. Got my stuff, got 2 boxes of alcohol, like, give me that. But it was large boxes of wine in there, too.
Oh, man.
And I said to my people there, because it's a tall brother, most people that go to Kenwood, you know the security guards and you know the people that ring the registers and even owners or whatever, for the most part. And I told one of the security guards I'm semi-cool with, and I was like, man, y'all be careful out there. It's like, you be careful, too. It's like, because I know. And he was trying to keep the social distances in the house. But I went there. I made some runs yesterday. I was out for about an hour and 20 making different type of runs or whatever and seeing the people in the streets. And listen, one thing I feel sorry for, people who, like, let's say it's somebody at your house, not your house, D, now, growing up. Let's say it was I don't want to say ne'er-do-well, but ne'er-do-well. And everybody goes to work and this person doesn't work and the house basically becomes theirs. because everybody's gone.
Right.
I feel sorry for that person. Because everybody's home. Because I saw dudes by himself walking the streets, and I was like, he ain't got no place to go. And I was like, damn, right?
Everybody at home.
Everybody at home. He can't have people come over. It's like all the stuff he used to do when mama's gone or whoever's gone is all messed up. But then this is a sad part. You usually know, D, because you'll tell me, like, you got some cash on you? Because I give out money to people that are on the streets. So it becomes a joke with us. Sometimes D just be like, you got some cash?
Yeah.
Like, you ain't giving them nothing. Why are you asking me?
I don't carry it.
Excuse me, Bank of Davis. You guys,
So I was on the 9, and it was one of the ladies. 2 ladies that's usually panhandling on 79th and Stony Island.
The little short little lady.
The little short and the tall one that's lighter. A light thinner one that's out there too. You've seen it. Sometimes you may not know she's a woman because her hair is covered up, right? Okay. But because it's really never dudes out there panhandling. It's really 2 ladies, but one of them you may not know is a woman because you don't see her long hair and she's slender or whatever. Because she's not out as much as the short one that wears the wigs or whatever, right? She was out there, and I saw this car 2 cars ahead of me, and the dude was reaching over, giving her something to the lady. And I was like, damn, you letting her whole body up in that ride, basically, right? And I always give money, but it was like, nah, son, it's not happening. So I wasn't rolling down my window. I got some Popeyes yesterday. This dude rolled up to the... Ooh. Oh, yeah, I got that Popeyes. This dude rolled up. Okay. This dude oh, dude, I wiped... Chicken sandwich. No, I didn't get the chicken sandwich. I wiped everything that I brought home, actually. Like, I told Afton before I got in the house, I said, lay out paper on the floor. I put the box of some Kenwood on the floor. I got this Lysol spray. I wiped all the bottles down in boxes. I set them to the side. And even those chicken boxes, I wiped all those boxes down. Like,
and
it was
then
like,
you deep fried the chicken in Lysol.
Well, remember, the chicken is, the chicken's in the box, though, Ryan. Right.
But, I know, I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know, as you should, with the COVID. So anyway, to get back to it, so this dude rolls up and he's like, you got 50 cents? And I had the mask on, I was just like, nah, bro, we ain't about to have a conversation about this.
He like Darth Vader'd him.
It's like, go. Wow. Like, take this more serious and carry your ass on. Like, no.
But like you said, though, you probably ain't got nowhere to go. But going back to the story, though, that's crazy that, damn, the underworld still got to make their money.
Did you guys,
especially Italy?
Yeah.
You ever see how the Vatican and how the money laundering and through the Vatican and stuff a few years ago with that?
Man, I don't remember hearing that, but I'm not.
Yeah, the Vatican got in trouble because the mob was laundering money through the Vatican bank is a powerhouse.
It is.
They was laundering money through the Vatican bank. Brian, what was you about to say?
Did you guys ever watch The Sopranos?
A little bit.
I never really got into it.
This story really reminded me of that show because they show some of that stuff, like the difference between the American mob and the Italian mob. And like some of the seasons they go back and forth. And then, of course, they're transporting stuff from Italy over to America. So I'm just thinking of all the little businesses that they would highlight in the show. All those are probably just dead right now. And always whenever they had a problem, like, hey, we can't get a job site, we can't get this going, they'd always hammer some politician or law enforcement dude to get the will or to get the way that they want. But what are you going to do now? You're going to go to Como and try to strong arm him into getting construction jobs going?
That ain't happening. I mean, I don't know. I would say this though, and see it. I mean, you and I, Ken too. We were doing the daily betting, the daily sports fantasy betting, whatever like that. But now you have betting legal here for the most part across the country in the States on sports betting. Now, I you know what? I watched this movie on Netflix. I don't know if y'all seen it. Well, the Mark Wahlberg movie, Spencer Confidential. It's kind of like the newer version of the. Remember Ken and Ryan, Spencer for Hire? No,
for sure, I remember Spencer for Hire. Do you remember A Man Called Hawk?
Exactly. Every
D.
He's still pulling that pistol out.
Wait, what's up, Ryan?
This isn't a Michael Bay film, right?
No,
I was worried about that.
This was like a Saturday night. I think it was NBC. I don't know if it was Channel 7.
No, this Spencer movie.
The movie.
Oh, okay. I meant the TV show. Yeah.
Well, the TV show the movie is all the TV show and the movie based off books. And you know what? ignorant of me, I didn't know that.
Nah, bro, I'm with you on that ignorant front.
Yeah.
And listen, to be honest with you, that book can't be that good.
Hey, listen, but the Spencer for Hire TV show came out. It was like the early to mid '80s. I remember watching the reruns. But anyway, in the movie, they talk about how dirty cops in the mafia were trying to get into this to open up a legal casino, horse, like dog betting, horse racing, whatever, like everything like that. But my point is, I'm curious and see. I'm going to speak on this point. Talking about kind of like how. Now with legal betting, even within sports, I wonder how big of a hit is a mafia taking at that, or are they back channeling and running sites sort of like, if you want to say, not saying they're doing this, but running sites like DraftKings or Daily Fantasy, whatever the case may be.
I'm sure you're going to have people that's going to be one or two or three steps ahead, but what can you really bet on right now? You can't really bet on pro wrestling, even though they have WrestleMania coming up this weekend, but you really can't bet on that. I know I was watching, I think it was NBC Sports Chicago or NBCSN, one of those channels that they have live sports racing. Like, where is this taking place at? Because everything's shut down right now.
Yeah. I mean,
do you think the mob's betting on the Madden simulations that they're doing right now?
Man, listen.
Come on, they got to be gambling on something.
Real quick though, you also
fix in.
But you also have to remember that what helps the mob is the fact that they can provide you credit. So there's still going to always be a way. If I'm already in the hole, you know, so like I don't have money, but I can go to some bookie and the bookie's going to provide me credit and still I can get me some action. There's still a way for the mob to still exploit gambling like that.
But see his point. Where's the action at?
Yeah, figure out something.
Exactly.
That's all I'm wondering. With this 2K tournament that happened on Friday, do you think that they were just taking odds on all these dudes?
Probably.
I would think, right?
I bet you somebody
got to do something.
Did anybody watch that?
No.
Okay, because I didn't even know where it was playing.
I hear the Bucks were the winners. Everybody was picking because it wasn't you have your own team. You pick whatever team you want, but you can only use that team once in the tournament.
Oh.
So everybody was like picking the Milwaukee Bucks versus like the Clippers.
Yeah,
Patrick, the Bucks are the big winners.
Yeah, I saw some highlights of it on Twitter, and somebody had tweeted out that Patrick Beverly is just as intense on 2K than he is on the. You
think he's not?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, come on, dude. He's the same person.
Did you see that?
He was going crazy on somebody. I think he was playing Hassan Whiteside. He was just talking big shit.
Did you see that ESPN thing that came out like 3 weeks ago, Patrick Beverly?
No.
Like about his growing up on the West Side and how, you know, after he had left school and college, came home and he was hustling and he was like, I'm going to be the best drug dealer ever. And him and his cousin went out and his cousin was with him and he left. He asked his cousin if he was going to ride with him and his cousin was like, no, I'm good. And his cousin ended up getting shot. And that's kind of what got him to snap out of it. And when he went overseas to start balling out before he came here and had to buy himself out of his own contract. So he still was banking on himself. Like it's a really good story. I mean, it's a story of anybody, but definitely a Chicagoan story. It's pretty good. You if you didn't have any admiration for him already, it provides you with more admiration for Patrick Beverly.
Oh man, I'm a fan.
Tough upbringing, hard-nosed dude, and full on pulled himself up with his bootstraps. Definitely pulled himself up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, $40 million deal. Listen, when you parlay yourself into a Michael Cooper style. Now, I'm not saying he's Coop the Loop, but that defender-esque thing, and you can parlay into a $40 million contract in this NBA, you're doing a damn good job, young man.
Damn good job.
And it should have been with the Bulls, but they can't put together a good squad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy he didn't. I wanted him definitely to stay with the contender and go get you a title and, you know, try to win rather than coming here.
Don't come to this garbage.
And losing here with them. Like, wow.
Real quick, D left, but not so much based off what Ryan just said. The news came out about the Bulls front office looking for somebody who's going to oversee all basketball operations, right?
Well,
so
it came out that they're not going to wait till if the season starts or not, because we already knew it was going to happen. They're starting now.
But it's just more public. They're saying, all right, John Paxson, you're going to be an advisory role. But Dwayne Wade sent out a tweet yesterday, and he's like, hey, I know somebody that's interested. So I was like, damn. So this is why I said damn in my head. I covered, as everybody who listens to the show, I covered the Dwayne Wade red carpet for his ESPN documentary, right? But I didn't get a chance to ask him a question. But on my notes was to ask him, hey, it's been rumors out there that the Bulls were looking to have somebody run the front, join the front office to be the GM. I was going to ask him if he would be interested in it, but I didn't get a chance, and I was so bummed about that. But then I saw his tweet, I was even more so like, damn, I wish I would have asked him that question. So I don't know if he's talking about himself, but he definitely sent out the tweet. I think it was yesterday or early this morning, saying like, hey, I know somebody that'd be interested. Basically, I know somebody would be interested in doing it. So
let me give you guys a guess. His former teammate Shane Battier.
I was thinking about that. Yeah. So
I like the list that they have though. Of the guys, the six names, I was pleasantly surprised with that.
I do
too.
too.
Throw D Wade in there, that's fine with me too.
But I was going to ask you, Ken, would you be okay with a D Wade running the Chicago Bulls operation? Maybe he won't be the GM. Maybe he'll be a GM and won't be overseeing everything. Because I would think Dwayne Wade, even though his tenure here was kind of rough with the younger players, but those guys wasn't stars.
No,
he'd probably be able to get stars to come here though.
Yeah, but that doesn't
possibly. I don't know.
Look, I want someone who's been doing it in this NBA, and again, he has the connections, but someone that has the scouting connections, the connections with the agents. I want all of that. I don't do it right.
No first timers.
Yeah, don't. This is not a learn on the job position. Get someone who's known how to handle this NBA. That's either worked under their grade. If it's Usai Ujiri, if it's whoever, if it's Denver's president. Get these guys that at least been in that position that through the draft has found talent. Like, that's the thing. Like, okay, you bring in Dwayne Wade. I mean, he can bring some people here. Maybe if Anthony Davis, and I think we all know Anthony Davis is probably going to resign with the Lakers, but most of the people that he played with are at retirement age. LeBron's not coming here. And I'm not going to say that people don't look – I'm not saying that, but how many people are you really going to get? It's especially – and again, this is a big market, but in a way, since you don't bring in – prize free agents, it's a small market. You really have to do this through the draft. Even if you bring in a couple big free agents, you're going to be cap strung. You're going to have to do. I need someone that can hit on these draft picks.
Ken,
yeah.
Do you have a favorite out of the six names thrown out at least to start?
I guess the guy that's under Usai Ujiri right now, Bobby Webster would probably be mine, because I still feel like when you look at Denver, they haven't learned on how to totally organize it yet. They're good as far as a collective of talent, but it still misses the key, the click. They don't. You can't. Yeah, you can run the offense through Jokic, but at the end of the game, it's hard to put that on the center, and then you're putting that on Jamal Murray. I think they got a lot of parts. So I do like the GM in Denver. It wouldn't bother me. The Buchanan cat, even though I didn't see that yesterday with Indy, but I want someone who is.
I like that Miami Heat guy too, Adam Simon.
Okay.
I don't know if he's Pat Riley, but if anybody has learned under Pat Riley, I love what he's doing.
Any of these people,
Shane Battier, though.
Any of these people that have built culture, really build culture, but also hit. You may miss occasionally on the draft
build teams. Get a bed for a superstar to actually come.
Yeah, to have true direction. If we go back to what the last 4 years, 5 years of the Bulls, every year they changed what the direction was supposed to be. They didn't stick to it. When Jimmy Butler was here and they got rid of him, or prior to that, they said we're going to get younger with Jimmy. They brought in D Wade and Rondo. It's just. Right. No,
let's bring in Fred Hoiberg and not give him players.
Yeah, no. This is the biggest pet peeve in Chicago is bringing in people who are learning on the job. Hire someone who's done this job before. Hire someone that's a GM and waiting to become president. That's what you need. If this guy hits in 3 years, he should be, if not now, the team president. And that's what you really need to do. It sounds sensational to bring in a D-Wade, and yes, it definitely would help. But still, I want someone that's been through the processes that can come in here and implement it consistently through waves when you may hit, but they can pivot and come back in with a different plan.
Yeah. Now, I'm kind of interested we'll go to the next topic real quick, but I'm kind of interested in the dude out of the Clippers, Michael Winger, because he's been learning up under Doc Rivers, and Doc Rivers has been able to build a coach. You don't
Jerry
like
West.
Yeah, and Jerry West too. You don't like
Hold on, stop.
What? I ain't saying the Clippers winning championships.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Jerry West has been with the Clippers for 2 years. Doc Rivers really wasn't a good personnel person with the Clippers. So if you're telling me he learned from bad Doc Rivers' position, Doc Rivers is a great coach. He's not a great personnel person. He gave his son an extension. No. keep him over there. There's not enough Jerry West on that dude for me to be like, oh, you were on the Jerry West. Like, no.
Hey,
you stay over there.
Even though, yes, he probably wasn't the best of the GMs, probably extensions like that. But Doc Rivers has a really good name within the circles of the NBA.
That's not but the point we're talking about front office. We're talking about front office positions, and that, in a way, with Doc is more of a failure than a success. The best thing the Clippers did was make Doc just the coach again and not lose him. That was the best thing, because they had a great coach. Just to divorce him from having all the power and for him to still stay there.
But that never works really anyway, though.
But even you're right, it never works. But he didn't prove anything. He thought he could be Danny Ainge and say, yeah, Danny, I can be the coach and I can do your job. Right. He could not pull that off.
Yeah, it's really hard to do that.
All right, federal agencies, $29.6 million worth of illegal drugs from the tunnel used by smugglers to enter San Diego from Mexico. A cross-border passageway so sophisticated that it had ventilation, lighting, and underground rail system, as authorities said on Tuesday. The tunnel's entrance was not far from a newly constructed section of the border wall that Trump visited last September in the Otay Mesa section of San Diego. The stockpile of drugs included 1,300 pounds of cocaine, 86 pounds of methamphetamines, 17 pounds of heroin. That's not enough heroin. 3,000 pounds of marijuana and more than 2 pounds of fentanyl.
That's where it's at.
The San Diego Tunnel Task Force said the Drug Enforcement Administration and Border Patrol, which has said that the tunnel was 2,000 foot long when it was discovered on March 19th. So still talking about, again, Pookie's not getting his.
Well, listen, I'm going to say it here. As I said 1,000 times, I just don't understand why they don't legalize everything. Why do you still put up with all this stuff talking about tunnels and busting this person and busting that person? You want to be able to take something out of the hands of organized crime, as you just did the first topic? Just make all this stuff legal.
They don't want to take it out of the hands of organized crime.
I know. The organized crime want to keep it illegal so they can have a market. But I'm just saying, if you're smart, just like cigarettes never illegal, but like alcohol, eventually they kind of saw this program.
It was legal at first, though, and then they made it illegal.
But hold on, cocaine.
Marijuana was
legal. Cocaine was legal, but then they saw black and brown people start touching. It's like, this is illegal. So
and that's why they won't legalize it across the board, because they got to have so many of us populating the jails and the prisons, because everybody's making money off these investment privatizing these prisons. So if you don't have us in there as the majority of that population, no one's making any money, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know. But you know what? You said it was right next to Trump's. He hasn't put up any new wall. That's to me, wall. But it was close by there.
This was like sensationalism in this article to mention that it's right next to something newly built by.
Right.
Regardless of what they built, listen, it's an underground tunnel. How far deep y'all digging those walls? Because they're gonna dig that tunnel a little bit further down.
Yeah.
Like these when it comes to construction, these guys are phenomenal. So you can try all you want. You don't have enough wall to go to the crust of the earth.
No.
Right?
Oh my gosh. They'll
be moving shit by the core.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, it's just stop playing. That's not the biggest problem that we have right now. Again, even if what Dee said, the legalization would benefit that from stopping. But again, you're going to lose a lot of voters in some states if you
I know you will. I know you will.
So, some people are not touching. No evangelicals voting for somebody that's like, the heroin needs to be legal. It's like, no, God doesn't want that. So you can cancel that point.
But doesn't it just show how silly this whole wall idea is? Like, if let's say you had a room and you only had one wall and you were trying to keep out nature, how good would that be at stopping nature from coming in?
Exactly.
Just one wall. They're going to dig under it. They're going to go around it. They're going to catapult stuff over the top of it.
They can go through it
to lose.
They can go through it.
Stop.
Yes, they was cutting out sections of the wall and just walking right through it.
But even if you make this massive, like, fortified, awesome, badass wall, so what? We got 3 other borders that don't have walls, and it doesn't cover the top where they'll do anything. They'll parachute in.
Drone
it's all
drops.
about the money. You sold a couple pounds of that fentanyl, you're good. It was all worth it.
Yeah. Woo, how many pounds, Ken? You said 2 pounds?
2 pounds of that fentanyl.
Damn.
2 pounds. If people don't know,
you need a crumb to like.
That's what I was just about to say. You a dip of fentanyl will not can kill you. Like if you touched it with your hand, that's like we talk about those cops touching people and then having to hit the Narcan. Like, man, that Lordy. I wouldn't even want to be around that fentanyl. And I'm not saying
know.
I don't want nobody to act. It spills. Oh no.
I'd be like, where's the N95 mask? I don't want to breathe any of this in.
Right?
Just in the air.
Yeah, nah, man. Droplets of that fentanyl is worse than that Rona. All right.
Imagine that like falling and then you see a little cloud of dust and everyone just runs through the tunnel the other way.
All right. While entrepreneur Mark Cuban won't say whether or not a run for the presidency is in the cards, the billionaire and the owner of the Dallas Mavericks does see an opportunity for new leadership coming from outside of the political class in Washington. Cuban said, I think we're tired of traditional politicians, the political parties, and a wide-ranging interview for Yahoo Finance. There's no better time for somebody to step up and really be a leader. And I like to, and said many, many times, that you don't have to be the leader to be a leader. Cuban wouldn't say if he had any presidential ambitions on the horizon. Everything changed, he said, so I'm not going to answer the question. I don't have to answer it. But he did say that he sees opportunity in the country. This is America Reset 1.0. Get the chance to rewrite all the rules and do it in a way that nonpartisan, puts people first, puts everyone on equal footing and says, you know what? Let's go forward and do this together. We the people. He added that right now there's a void in leadership and the door is wide open, whether it's me or somebody else.
This is the issue. A lot of people are dumb and they won't go. A lot of people don't vote in their interest and a lot of people just don't believe in government. And a lot of people, as I said before, are just flat out dumb. Case in point, I was watching CNN yesterday, and it was talking about this church in Ohio, I believe. And basically, in some mostly Republican states, they're letting churches and religious organizations still have service with more than 10 people. So basically, they can still have their whole entire congregation come in and have service, right? The issue is that people are like, coming in, and the reporter was like, hey, so are you not worried about if you're symptomatic or somebody else is symptomatic and you can get sick or you can get somebody else sick? It was like, nah, I'm fine. It's not, nobody's in there sick. But like, well, how would you know? Because I know, and I have faith in everything, and I know. And it was like, come on, y'all. So, I mean, he stopped. That one reporter stopped at least 8 or 9 people, and even the pastor. And the pastor even said, like, ain't nobody in there sick. I should know. I'm the pastor, and you better not report no fake news on me.
Whoa.
So to Mark Cuban's point, I love his optimism. Say like, yeah, we're going to do this. It's like 1.0. We can start over again, and we can rebuild it. And for the people, unfortunately, a lot of Americans do not care about that.
I mean, you also got to remember your commander-in-chief said that, you know, he not putting no mask on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And that just amps up these other fools to think that everything is copacetic. And it's like, dude, fuck your church money. And I'm being honest right here. Fuck your church money. You don't risk these people on bullshit like this. And on top of that, not just risking them, risking the people that they're going to take it back home to. Because also remember this, a lot of people going to church aren't kids. They're already old, and some of them may have parents that are older than them.
And they was bringing kids inside.
Dude, you just like, what the hell is, like, what's really going on? Like, dude, common sense, again, in a capitalistic society, when they tank their own economy, something's going on.
Yep.
And I'm not telling you we know everything. I'm not saying like, man, it's clearly what the government tells us. Everything's what they say. No. But it's big, all right? When the world, not just America, tanks their economy, when we know they don't care about us and will risk us dying anyway.
Yeah, the economy is more valuable than people to them.
It's big. But the economy in these churches, so shout out to people like Tony, Sean Davis, seeing our friend Bobby Denise, people that, you know, their pastor being there, it'd be him. Like Tony's family will be in the church because they are the church. Yeah. His brother is on the organ. The guys there, guys on the drums. You know what I'm saying? Like their whole family. So yeah, they live in a house together anyway. So they'll hold service and broadcast it out for their fellowship. Yeah, that's what you do.
Smart.
You still give the message to the people. I seen pastors sitting at their table. You still give people the message, but you don't open those doors. And you can say it's not for that coin, but let's be honest. One thing you know that's going to happen when they're in it, that you're going to get a collection plate movement. You know, if you really care and really care what the Bible tells you, get off that bullshit, man.
It's very selfish, guys.
Yeah, unfortunately, common sense ain't common with some folks sometimes. I get one point here is it's okay to be optimistic, but we got to deal with reality because it's affecting all of us. Number two, I think people are selfish just a little bit too much. And then when those people, like you said, D, they were interviewed by that reporter, I guarantee you, if they would have had that virus, they would have been the first ones where, oh, I don't want to give it to this person or to my family or to the next person or what have you. I guarantee you, people's attitudes do change and will change if something happens to them. But until then, if it's like, oh, it's somebody else or it's that person or it's that person, as long as I'm good, that's all that counts. And it's sad, especially in these situations.
But my thing is, so what do they think about all the people that got it?
They deserved it. God put it on them. He's punishing them.
I'm sure some very devout Christians have caught the virus, and I'm very sure it's a very devout Christian or whatever religion you believe in. I'm sure they passed too. So what are you saying about those people? That's why I said
it ain't me. It ain't over here.
It's very selfish. Very selfish.
Real talk. It's like it's coming closer and closer to 6 degrees of separation, and it's leaped over that because a family member basically may have it. We don't know for sure if she has it, but Afton's cousin's wife, who is a nurse practitioner, she came down with fevers a few days ago, right? Now, mind you, she's a nurse practitioner. She thinks she got it from a patient. She's been at home with her family, right? Who knows anybody else? And unfortunately, I hate to mention because not first and foremost, it's family that's important. Mm-hmm. So definitely hope that she doesn't have it. And if she does, it's brief and it's not debilitating, but it's not a joke. Like it's people out here that still have to really, like my cousin's your cousin, my cousin's a bus driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has to go to work. Yeah. Right. So at least do your best so you don't get it. So you don't get these people that can't work from home or can take a loss. Like be responsible for other people and just stop being an idiot at all the damn time.
I have my aunt, her boyfriend, my cousin, my pops is working in a facility right now where he's doing overnight stuff, but still he's kind of like not as far as general population, but he's at least still out there, whatever like that. Mm-hmm. So yes, I have people in my immediate family that's still going out there and working. Then I have some of my family members who aren't and as lucky as you or I can that they can work from home. So and so many people are going through that right now. And that was a big report coming out talking about how at first you hear this bullshit talking about, oh, black folks can't get it. I'm like, listen, y'all, anybody can get it. You're a human being.
Good while it lasted.
And now what's happening? You starting to get all these reports talking about it's affecting black people the most. And we're the most people that are getting it, or just about, a higher level, but we're also very high and susceptible of dying from it. But that can come from the economics because people still got to be out there. People still got to work. Mm-hmm. You can also go to the economics of our healthcare within our communities. Our health in general in our communities isn't good. Asthma, any kind of other respiratory issues, whatever the case may be, right? So it's affecting black people at a very high, alarming rate. And now that's getting out to the media. And now we're starting to ask more leaders or people in government offices or positions about that. So it's a lot of different scenarios as this can hit you and hit your community in so many different ways. And as far as the example I brought up with the church, you can't be that selfish. If you're going to go out, protect yourself. So protect yourself and protect other people. But don't walk around saying something nonsensical, which is, as said, not having any kind of common sense. Protect yourself and don't be selfish, and just take care of your community. And that's my biggest fear, Ken, is that simple fact that you have all these people doing this and it won't be able to flatten that curve as we keep hearing. I have a fear that it's going to keep on going and going and going a lot longer than we expect.
All right. The Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame announced that basketball icons Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, and Tim Duncan, along with Indiana Fever star Tamika Catchings, former Houston Rocket head coach Rudy Tomjanovich, former Oklahoma State coach Eddie Sutton, Baylor's woman coach Kim Mulkey, and Bentley University's women coach Barbara Steffens, and the IOC and FIBA executive Patrick Ballman will be inducted into the 2020 class of Hall of Fame inductees. You have two of the greatest power forwards of all time, even though the argument is always Tim Duncan as a center. And unfortunately, tragically, you have the late, great Kobe Bryant, who we lost before the world really went crazy. Let you know how crazy this year's been. Won't be there. To be honest with you, will they even have the I mean, I guess this is in the summertime, so they should be able to have this. Or is this in the fall? When is the August 28th to 30th, August 28th and the 30th. So at that point, we think that we will be shelter in place to be over.
Hopefully
For the most place. But then, see, this is still the thing. Even if shelter in place is over, how are they going to allow people to congregate? Are they going to say, remember how many people are usually at the Hall of Fame when they have those inductions?
Especially this one?
Yeah. So are they... Yeah, so are they still going to sit there and allow all those people to get together, which would be definitely sad because this is, I hate to say, the culminating point with Kobe now. We didn't think with how Kobe went on to win a Grammy, an Oscar and a Grammy, right? Not a Grammy, Oscar and an Emmy. Oscar and an Emmy. He won an Emmy too.
Yes, he did.
He won an Oscar and an Emmy, and clearly Kobe was going to continue to grow to be something greater than just a basketball player. And that's gone now. And now it kind of goes back to that basketball lane. And kind of the last thing is when you get into the Hall of Fame, it's like the going away party in a way after 5 years after your career. So it's definitely deflating to sit here and know that this class and two of the players in Kobe and Tim Duncan set the stage for one and dones, which is about to return to the NBA in a year or two, about a season.
You mean Kevin Garnett, right?
That's what I meant. Kevin Garnett. Are about to sit there and they set that the narrative is with one and done, what people didn't believe, especially with Kobe. One thing people didn't think, with KG being so skinny, he was still looked at the fact that he was 7 feet, that there was something that you can use in the NBA in the first couple seasons, if not few seasons. People didn't know about a kid guard coming from high school, and how soon you'll be able to throw that kid into the fire. I've been seeing Kobe talk about Dale Harris and sitting him for 3 years, basically, until Rick Fox and whoever he was going to start behind Rick Fox got injured, and Kobe finally got to play. And Kobe started talking about, think about my numbers, what they would have been if I played those first 3 years, when people look at numbers to validate everything or whatever. Because, I mean, if you look at what Kobe was in all-time scoring, if you add 3 more years to that, he's probably the leading. He probably gets the records at that point as far as the all-time score, which probably LeBron is going to break. I thought LeBron was going to break it, and Kevin Durant was going to pass him. I don't think Kevin Durant's going to pass LeBron now, missing another season, because he's missed what is like 2.5 years he had like a year and a half. He missed in OKC, whatever. But still. To sit there, Tim Duncan, I can remember, man, it was so good to have basketball in the 90s, because you had, you open up Sports Illustrated, Ray Allen and Allen Iverson are in the Big East, and you kept hearing about this kid from the Virgin Islands that was at Wake Forest, and that any year he would have came out, he would have been the number one pick, and he stayed off 4 years. I still hate Lauren Woods to this day for transferring from Arizona and coming there and moving Tim Duncan to power forward, because it was all a lie. It still is a lie. It will always be a lie. But definitely I look for, but it's still somber, this upcoming Hall of Fame class. What are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah, definitely with Kobe Bryant not being able to be there, that's going to be sad. I just got a tweet or a notification saying the Lakers just put together a great Hall of Fame video for Kobe Bryant. Talking about, I'll make you cry. So that's going to be so sad to see, but it's also going to be good time to celebrate everyone that is, you know what I'm saying? From the ladies going in, Tamika Catchings going in. You have, like I said before, Tim Duncan,
Kim Mulkey
going in. She
broke through that Gino Auriemma. It's one thing I just want to talk to y'all guys real quick.
Yeah.
I was thinking about when we were talking about the basketball, the high college greatest player.
Yeah.
And Diana Taurasi, and I thought she should have went further. But one of the arguments I was having in my head was during the period that Diana Taurasi and UConn were on top, they only really had to play against Tennessee.
Right.
But nowadays, and Tennessee isn't Tennessee, but UConn is a UConn, but you still have Baylor, South Carolina. You have more teams.
Oregon,
I meant Oregon too. And Oregon, even if it's only 5, it's more than there just being necessarily 2. And Kim Mulkey is one of those players. She's going to coach for a long time.
Yeah,
she's one of those women that helped take it to another level and elevate that Baylor's women's basketball program.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, this isn't the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame, the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. So, no, it's going to be a great class, man. It's going to be hopefully
best class ever.
No.
I was thinking that because I know everybody's probably gonna think about the class with Jordans was really good.
Who else would it like? What was Mike and who else? Because it was a couple. It was like
Mike, did John Stockton go in there?
Yeah, John Stockton went in. Did David Robinson go in that class?
Yes, he did. I believe.
Did he?
I believe so.
I don't know, but this one is going. His Michael Jordan class was really good, but this class is up there, man. It's up there.
It's up there.
It's definitely going to be over there. I'm looking forward to seeing it. They do Eric. Is it usually on ESPN or is it on NBA TV?
It's on NBA TV. It's been that way for the last several years.
Okay, all right. Because I know I watched it one year. I think it was NBA TV. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a good time. And like I said before, although Kobe isn't there, it'll be a good time to celebrate overall everybody going in. Yeah, right.
See, I think the only thing sad, like, because we did the Kobe Bryant funeral memorial, and I think that kind of got us through the rest of the sadness. I think that the only thing sad is we're probably not going to be able to congregate, because I think that August party for Kobe, that was going to be the first time we were going to celebrate him without sadness being like a huge theme in it. Like, of course, people are going to be sad still, but I think this was going to be the celebration time.
Yes.
This was going to be the good vibes.
Yes.
Everybody partying. Like, man, he was the bomb, and I'm glad we at least got to say goodbye to him. But if no one's going to be there, then it's just going to bring back that sadness all over, I think.
All right. 87 class was Pete. No, go ahead, Sid. Go ahead, Sid.
No, just real quick, I want to piggyback off your point about Kobe. Ken, about his first 3 years, he'll probably be number one, number two in the scoring. Remember, Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel were the starting guards in front of him. So he came off the bench, and he made the All-Star game his second year, barely averaging 15 points a game. He had to take GM Jerry West to trade both those guys for Kobe to start in his third year.
Yeah, somebody got hurt, too. Who got hurt? And then
Rick Fox got hurt, but then the backup got hurt.
Okay.
Real quick. And then they froze Kobe out that All-Star game, too. Because Kobe was about to steal him an MVP, and they was like, slow down, shorty.
Yeah.
Right? They was like, I don't even know if he played in the fourth. I think he ain't playing the fourth. Kobe was coming at Mike. That's Mike fresh coming back. Kobe was like, I'm here for mine. I was like, whoa. Like, ooh. All right, look, 87, you had Pete Maravich, Walt Frazier, Rick Barry, Bob Hubricks, and Bob Wazir. Then you had, real quick, I'm sorry I have to click these. I hate when they do that. You had,
I'm going to take
06, you had Barkley, Joe Dumars, Dominique Wilkins, Gino Auriemma, Sandro Gamba, and Dave Gavitt. That's a good class right there.
That's pretty good.
That's a good class.
I'm not saying – all right, 93, Julius Erving, Walt Bellamy, Bill Walton, Dan Issel, Dick McGuire, Calvin Murphy, Ann Myers, and Oljan Simonja. All right. Okay. Second.
I wonder if this class has the most NBA titles.
2016, that's a good one, right?
That's a good one, right?
2016, you had Shaquille O'Neal, Zelmo Betty, Allen Iverson, Yao Ming, Daryl Gatson, Tom Izzo.
Was that 2012?
This is 2016. Look, wait, let me finish. Yao Ming, Daryl Garrettson, Tom Izzo, John McClendon, Cumberland Posey, Jerry Reinsdorf, and Cheryl Swoops.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a big class, too.
That's a big class. All right, in 2018, you had Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Grant Hill, Maurice Cheeks, Ray Allen, Dino Raja, Charlie Scott, Charles Drizzle or Drizel, Aura Mae Washington, Rod Thorne, who drafted Michael Jordan, Rick Welts, Katie Smith, and Tina Thompson with her lovely, luscious lips.
Well, this seems like, at worst, the third best Hall of Fame class
2010
in NBA history.
2010, no. Scottie Pippen, Karl Malone, Dennis Johnson, Gus Johnson, Jerry Buss, Bob Hurley, and Cynthia Cooper Dyke.
Ooh, that's
a hard one.
Yeah.
That's a hard one right there. You got maybe the greatest WNBA player really at her highest. People forget what Cynthia Cooper was doing when the WNBA opened up. 08, you had Ewing, Akeem Olajuwon, Adrian Dantley, Bill Davidson, Pat Riley, Catchy Rush, and Dick Vitale.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right.
Well, where do we like Kobe is what? The second best shooting guard of all
hold
time?
on. Let me drop this one real quick. 1980, you had Jerry Lucas, Jerry West, Oscar Robinson, Les Harrison, Everett Sultan, and Dallas Shirley.
Okay.
And we may only have two more. Then they got number one here. They got Jordan, David Robinson, John Stockton, Jerry Sloan, and C. Vivian Stringer. Yeah, that's a hard one right
That's a
there.
good one.
That's the one that I think might be better. I think I like them second.
Listen, you can argue that the Kobe one, because the thing with the Kobe one is Mike is all right, let's just go by position. We don't have to say he's the greatest player, but let's just say he's the greatest shooting guard.
Yeah.
Right.
Kobe's the second best.
Yeah.
If Tim Duncan is a power forward, he's the greatest power forward.
Right.
Kevin Garnett.
What is he as a center? If we put, is he a top
I think
five
he's top.
center?
I think he's right at 5 or 6.
Yeah, I would say
that's
top
why
10.
I usually push him at. I think because you definitely gonna go. You're gonna go.
Kareem,
Wilt.
Bill Russell.
Definitely Olajuwon and Bill Russell. Even though to me Bill Russell's more of a power forward, but yet still he played the center. Bill Russell but see, I be honest with you, and that would be part of the argument. I could still put on over 2 of them, and I hate to say this is blasphemous. I could see myself putting Timmy over Olajuwon, and the fact is, Olajuwon at his peak is greater than Timmy, but Timmy sustained his peak for an extended amount of time. And I'll say this much: it wasn't Olajuwon's fault. Tim had a better surrounding cast when you got Mono and Tony Parker around him. Olajuwon didn't have a great surrounding cast
until later in his career.
And those players were older for the most part. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
I would probably throw in.
And what about Kevin Garnett, real quick?
Kevin Garnett,
he's top 10, probably top 10. I know. Yeah, top 10 power forward overall. He might be able to sneak in top 5. He might be able to sneak in the top 5.
I mean, if you put impact, he's clearly top 5.
Yeah, because nobody played him like that.
He changed the draft, and he was a different type. Like one player that would totally freak the NBA out today if he was playing today is Kevin Garnett, because when you're doing this switch everything shit and you don't want to play with the big, and you got him now playing center. And when he came into the league, when we were kids, he was getting pushed around as small forward and power forward. Yeah. He wouldn't be getting pushed around for the most part now. And he's switching off that long on everything.
And wait, think about this.
He was a decent 3-point shooter at Boston, wasn't he?
He was a good shooter, yeah.
By the
time he got to Boston, he was a good shooter. Listen, for a big, he was a nice shooter.
Yeah.
But when he got to Boston and the NBA was changing, he extended it out to the 3-point range.
Now think about it like this, though, Ken. Think about it like this. And see, you can definitely hop in too. Think about it like this. Now, you just said he would be crazy coming into this league right now. So that would mean he would have expanded his style of play years ago. So what you will probably see is him being almost somewhat maybe with a nastier streak on the inside, like a Kevin Durant, because he would have learned how to shoot the 3 better. He would have learned how to handle the ball a lot better, and he still had that nastiness in him anyway. He'll go down low too. So
it would have been freaky. It would have been freaky.
He would have been a tougher, more aggressive.
He's stronger.
Kevin Garnett,
even to be a skinny guy, he was a strong skinny guy. Like he was really strong. And listen, athletic. One thing to do. One of the illest dunks. I remember KG jumps up for a rebound. The rebound comes down to his hips. He's in the air. He grabs it and windmills the hell out of it. It was so. Listen, the handle at that age. I mean, at that size at that time, like he was really freaky. Like sometimes he's underrated because really he stayed in Minnesota too long. Yeah. Like he should have had more MVP. Kevin Garnett should have been taking part, and at least he should have maybe won 2 and been a part of almost winning 3. But because he stayed there and the winning, if he had wins, he would have gotten MVPs if he had wins.
Yeah, he only got one, right?
Yeah, just like only one time, maybe it was twice, but I believe only one time did the Timberwolves make it past the first round. Yeah, and that was the Sam Cassell Sprewell season or whatever. Like, and then they didn't want to play Spree. Like, they didn't even want to give him another chance. Go ahead.
Who was that white dude that was on his team in Minnesota that was like his number 2?
Wally Zerbiak?
Yeah.
Wally Zerbiak. See what you have to say?
Yeah, we got you one here.
We got Kobe Bryant and Shaq over there, but let me give you Wally.
Yeah.
Just real quick on Garnett, and then I have a question for you guys regarding the Hall of Fame. What Ken said about Garnett developing that jump shot, the year he won the MVP, he started to develop that jump shot from the outside. When he came to Boston, he was still consistent at that, but he was their defensive anchor. You notice that team got very good defensively right away. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as a question for you guys for the Hall of Fame, we talked about it on the show before. Michael Thompson, former Lakers player, now the radio analyst, he's made the case that Michael Cooper should be in the Hall of Fame. I have another player from that Lakers squad that should be at least considered for the Hall of Fame. He is at one time an iron player. He was a
AC Green?
Yeah. You can make a case for him being in the Hall of Fame. He has 3 rings. He is an Iron Man.
Now you letting everybody up. First of all, you know damn well he doesn't deserve that Iron Man because he cheated. When he broke his jaw, he was sitting there. They would put him in the game, and then he come out, and he wasn't playing. He stole that Iron Man record. So get that Jerry Curl version up out of here.
Probably go Michael Cooper, but I don't know about
Coop the Loop. Coop, I say yes. Because you were asking him during the 80s to guard the best perimeter player on all those teams. So, like, he was a key cog. And to me, if you have a great defender, you're not asking him to score. You can't just poo-poo on him and not give him his props. So, Coop, yeah, but then we just letting everybody in if AC Green's getting up in this piece.
Wait a minute. Also, too, to add to Michael Cooper's resume, how many WNBA championships did he win with the LA Sparks? At least 1 or 2?
At least 1 or 2, several.
At least 1 or 2, yeah.
So that kind of also too. So he had.
But they're not gonna send him in for both though.
No.
I think they send you in for that. I don't think they do like that. I think it's like you go in as a coach or you go in as a player. I don't think it's like.
I don't know how they do. Yeah. I don't know how they do it. All I'm trying to say is he can at least he has something to his resume. If you want to.
AC Green was a virgin.
Oh, well, I mean.
That's on his resume.
It was.
He kept his virginity a very long time.
A famous version. One of the
while Magic just out there slanging it. And AC just like.
AC, you want none of this? I'm good.
Now, you know, Magic Man.
But Sid, you made a good point. This is one of the best defensive classes of all time, for sure. With these 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's going to be. Listen, man, this is a great class. This is a great class. The next one's probably going to be. I mean, it depends on when they all retire or who goes in. But you got LeBron going to be retiring sometime soon. You got D Wade.
But he's not going to retire with any of his boys.
He's not going to retire. LeBron's playing probably another 2 to 3 seasons. So
LeBron's probably going to be the highlight of his own class.
Probably.
That's probably.
Because I was thinking, because you're going to have D Wade. Well, Carmelo Anthony is still playing, so you don't tell him when he's going to retire. Mm-hmm. But you can have those 3. I don't know when they all go in together. Yeah, Chris Paul, he's going to go in the Hall of Fame for sure. He's at the tail end of his career. So it's a lot of guys right now that at the tail end of their career when they're going to be retiring sometime soon. It would be cool to kind of see when they all go in together. But I don't know. We'll see.
The NBA is losing millions of dollars with each day. The games cannot be played amid the outbreak of coronavirus. At the moment, it appears that if players in the league are at an impasse when it comes to how to share the burden of that loss. The NBA has asked players to take a 50% pay cut while games are on hold, according to Shams Charania of The Athletic. The pay cut will go into effect April 15th. The next standard NBA payday. The union countered with the 25% pay cut that will begin in mid-May, according to Charania. While players earn money that they are contractually owed during the regular season, their paychecks are spaced out over the course of the year. Mm-hmm. The standard NBA pay schedule calls for 1/24th of the player's salary to be paid on the 1st and 15th of each month. Though players can negotiate different pay schedules so long as at least 20% of their base salary is given on a standard NBA paydays. As it stands right now, the NBA already has the right to withhold a meaningful percentage of player salaries. Even in a normal season, 10% of player salaries are held in escrow in case players wind up making more than the CBA allows, and that forces a major clause that the CBA allows the teams to withhold 1/19.6 of the player salary for each game that is missed because of the crisis.
So I was just trying to look this up. Definitely with that, with their pay cut. Listen, they still getting something. He's a millionaire, so they still have their expenses. They have to.
Not all of them, though.
Yeah, not all of them. Not all of them. No, I totally agree.
That's why they have a union.
Yeah, that's why you have a union.
So they should be able to go to the union if they need some money.
Yeah, and they was able to counter with the 25%. So
it's gonna be in the middle.
Yeah, so it's probably maybe like 40, 35%, something like that.
Yeah.
So at least they're still getting something, right? They earn these contracts to be able to pay. But I was trying to find a story or article, I think it was it might have been on Bill Simmons' podcast. We just spoke about Kobe Bryant going to the Hall of Fame. He he got paid different than everybody else. It was
yes, he did. No, he got his
2 checks.
he got
or
like
something like that?
Yeah, he got like a large chunk of it at the beginning of the year. Like as soon as the league hit, Kobe had like a huge amount of. I was just gonna say that. Like I believe Kobe had like how his because I just said in the article.
Like that.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody else is probably set it up.
It was a very interesting story when I heard Bill Simmons talking about it. I don't think he was interviewing Kobe, but he was talking about somebody. We're talking about contracts, and it was like, this is kind of nobody knows this, but Kobe Bryant gets paid different than everybody else. He gets like 2 huge lump checks, and then that's it. Because everybody else is spread out, like you said, on the 1st and 15th. That's how they get paid.
Kobe's like, give me my money.
Money now, yeah.
I'll let me handle it. All right, this is one. I'm reading this article from, I believe, Yahoo Sports. Goes like this. I'm a big fan of Dak Prescott, but I'm not a big fan of anyone who fails to practice social distancing or otherwise comply with the federal or state guidelines regarding the importance of staying at home during the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. And while with lives on the line, I'm not going to shut up when someone with a high-profile set has a horrible example. Yesterday, it was Lamar Jackson, Hollywood Brown, and Antonio Brown. Today is a quintet of players, including Dez Bryant and Dak Prescott. They worked out together away from their homes, and they were photographed arm in arm in close proximity. Folks, this is the biggest public health crisis in our lifetime. Even if everyone does everything they're supposed to do, at least 100,000 Americans will die. The more that people deviate from these requirements, the more people will die. And the more people we see photos of athletes acting like nothing is going on, those who look up to those athletes will think that nothing is going on, and then they'll behave accordingly.
I mean, it goes back to the part of people thinking they're invisible. Goes back to the part of people with a higher means of wealth. Unfortunately, they think they are invincible. They think they live in another world. No, dude, you can get sick. We just had the NBA. I don't know, Ken. I don't know if you had this as a story, but how the NBA. We talked to Brandon Scoop B. Robinson about this, but the NBA is like really mulling about just canceling the season because China just shut down their season. But even though you can try to do everything in the right way, you're still putting yourself at risk. Mm-hmm. So there's no reason to go out there. Listen, if you got to practice by yourself. I know football might be a little bit different because you need somebody to throw the ball to you. Mm-hmm. I understand that depending on position that you play. Basketball, you want to have somebody in front of you. If you're talking about defense, working on your offense or vice versa. I understand that. But damn it, try to make sure you work on your skills that you can work on by yourself. It ain't worth it. It just ain't worth it.
All right. Now, twofold. I don't know if these players, because we've seen that, I won't say celebrities, but athletes have been getting tests long before anybody else was getting tests.
They have been, yeah.
So I don't know if they've been tested, but even if they have been tested, it still doesn't mean they can't get caught with the coronavirus or be asymptomatic and not really show signs of having coronavirus. So they still can be contagious. Mm-hmm. So I'm with you as far as I don't think you should do it. At least for the receivers, they can use jug machines. I know it's not necessarily the same when we're talking about the type of angles, especially if we're talking about probably deep passes or something like that. But, I don't think it sends the best message. And to be honest with you, again, somebody like, what's his name? What's the receiver that was just in there for the ex-Cowboy? Dez Bryant. Somebody like Dez Bryant, I'm sure the photo op is important to show that, hey, I'm available. Because I remember he was supposed to be with the Saints and he blew his Achilles out. Like,
hey, Jerry, me and Dak are looking pretty good.
Exactly. Jerry talked about bringing Dez back about a month or two ago. So I'm sure that's good to let people know that you're not injured any longer. But outside of that, even if you were going to go against the shelter-in-place requirement, you should not. I don't know if Texas has that for sure. Some of the southern states don't. I think Texas does. I'm pretty sure Texas does. Seems like now when you see it, it's the states with the rural states up the middle that don't really have shelter-in-place orders.
North Dakota, South Dakota.
Yeah, all like those places.
I don't think
that.
Iowa. Iowa, I don't think had.
Yeah, the more rural areas. But you can, even if you're going to break this, you should be responsible to at least the people that look up to you. As I said, it was in the article, and even maybe not just say these people look up to you, but may think everything is fine because you're out there doing it. You can do this and not post pictures of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, going back to Antonio Brown, he's somebody else that wants people to see. And that's Hollywood Brown's cousin. So somebody to see him out there and know that he's available. He knows now he won't be with Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers and Tom Brady. Bruce Arians has said we don't have the room for him, which is smart. Why would you blow up that receiver room by bringing him in? with his attitude. It'd be different if they were devoid of weapons. They got weapons.
Yeah,
so
fine.
Why bring in Antonio Brown when he's acting good, when you know he's going to switch up to AB? But again, to me,
and look at Baltimore. They're so good. They're like one of those franchises where we can take in a troubled soul and get some.
You think you can. You think you
right.
can.
But that would be one of the better places compared to like Arizona or even the Bears.
See, the only problem with that is, even I'll say this with the Bears when people talk about the Bears doing it, you're putting him on a young QB.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you're putting him in a room with his cousin, and you don't know what type of examples and what will stick to them, and if they're going to listen to him more than they may listen to some other vets.
But this is just going back to your point of the photo op. Of course, Antonio Brown wants to be seen with the Baltimore Ravens because that actually shows some traction.
Right. So again, I just think it's irresponsible also. But see, what do you have?
I'm going back to Dee's point. You had to be smart and self-quarantine yourself because of what's going on right now. But I think on the other side, like you guys have been saying, it's Antonio Brown trying to get traction from other teams to sign him. But I think it's a little bit overblown by people only because look what Antonio Brown's going through right now with the alleged rape case and all the other stuff that's been happening with him when all the negative press has been going on. So I think there's a little bit of a piling on from fans and media folks alike as well. So like you guys were saying, those players have to be smart, but I think on the other side, it's a little bit of a piling on as well because Antonio Brown, well, what's the first thing you think about when you bring up his name? All the negative stuff has been happening to him over the last few months.
Real quick, got an update from the trip real quick. Illinois passes 10,000 known cases of COVID-19 with at least 243 total deaths, 33 more dead than yesterday.
Wow.
And think we haven't even gotten to here. Like, we're not even New York, where at least in a couple weeks their bell curve may start to flatten. We're going up right now, and it's just we lost 33 people in a day.
Yesterday, I believe I didn't see the final number, but I believe maybe like around 4 or 5 o'clock, it came out that over 1,000 people had passed away from the virus throughout the country. 1,000 people went in a day. That's the size of some cities, towns in this country.
And think like, I hate to say this, but we basically know we're probably going to lose almost close to 100,000 people, if not more. And let's let you know how early we are. We're just at 1,000. Yeah. So it's going to seem worse in the upcoming weeks, which is frightening when you think about it, especially for people that have to be out there, people with immune systems that aren't as strong as they should need to be.
Yeah. And I also, too, I saw an article that was talking about one thing that's happening across the country. Non-violent offenders that are in jail or offenders that have very bad health situations are being released early. Right. So here in the city of Chicago, you have Cook County Jail. Right. You have a lot of, they're not so much inmates, but they're inmates in there like detainees. I don't know if you want to call them, because a lot of people down there haven't even went to trial yet, but they have them in jail. Right. Mm-hmm. So but the case is going crazy. The numbers are going up. My neighbor in the back of me, he is a correctional officer at the county. So we was talking about 2 weeks ago, and I'm on my side, my house, and he was on the other side of his garage. We were just talking. He's like, yeah, man, I'm down in the county. I'm down in the jail like that. It's kind of crazy. And I was like, well, how is it going? He's like, well, we don't have that many cases. We only got like maybe 2 or 3 guys, and then we kind of moved them over, and that's really it. I'm like, well, are you wearing anything protective over yourself? He's like, well, I got some gloves and not really no mask, nothing like that. I see an article today. Over 200 inmates now have it, and over 60 staff members have it in the county jail. Now, a lot of people are upset because they're releasing people who are in jail. But you have to ask your question this. I know we only got a few minutes, but I love to ask this question. Do you leave the people in jail so that can just kind of fester inside, and then you have these large amounts of group of people that are infected or could possibly die, the workers and the inmates in one unit, or do you let them out? But unfortunately, they could be asymptomatic. They can have it, and now you're back in general population. And sometimes a lot of people who come from prison or jail don't have anywhere to go, and they're back on the street, or they can go home to God knows who else. It's a very, very interesting, it's a sad situation for a lot of people to be in. The guys and women in jail, you don't know what they're going through, or the people when they get out. So I just wanted to get y'all real quick what y'all think about that.
It depends on what they were in jail for. So if it's of someone that seems to be a violent offender, then no, they don't need to be back out here. You know what I'm saying? But if it's someone that's on some type of misdemeanor or a payment that wasn't paid or something of that nature that they would be out if they could afford bail, then yeah, probably you should let them out. And one thing on the side note, unfortunately, Tekashi 6ix9ine was let out earlier than he was supposed to be let out.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, but the issue, but the thing is, if you let them stay inside and they get infected, that's they. I mean, it's another case. I mean, you do have.
So
another,
you risk the lives.
Yes.
You don't care about the lives of the inmates, is what you're saying.
I mean, some people do feel that way. It's like, well, they in jail.
I think it's you. I think that's
no, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I think honestly, I think I would probably be more so on the side of letting them out.
Okay.
Because, like you said, I mean, it's kind of like that's an engine burning inside that place with that virus going around. You never know what's going to happen.
And let's not forget real quick that what we see about those bombs that inmates make, fecal matter, pee, whatever, and they douse it on the correction officers or whatever. Don't think some of them twisted cats in there won't take some of that COVID and start tossing that too.
Well, blood, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, blood, everything. Yeah.
I think a little problem with your scenario, and it's kind of like with everything. I mean, there's always somebody going in and out of these prisons because even the staff members are leaving. So
it's a no-win situation.
Right. Even if you wanted to keep them in there to fester, they're really not keeping in there to fester. Most of them are, but there's people that are getting out. And that's like with everything. Like that's what a lot of people don't realize. It's
constantly going back and forth. All right. Hey, everybody, thank you for watching and listening. Make sure you follow us all over social medias at D and Davis on Twitter and IG as well. Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. And just simply search for the D and Davis Show on YouTube and any podcast platform.
We will be back with Dan Davis, the show, and Westworld Flip. We may bring you a little bit more content since we can do this at home. We definitely appreciate you rocking with us, or being with us, rather. Please stay safe. Don't do anything stupid before you hear from us again.
We go.
Keep your hands to yourself.
The Flip.